We are continuing Satyavan speaking to Savitri. He is describing who he is, why he is there. I have heard strange voices cross the ether's waves, that is, supernatural voices. The centaur's wizard song has thrilled my ear. Centaur is half animal and half man, mostly man, with the legs of a horse, symbolizing the transition from the animal to the human in evolution. So he says, and the centaur is noted for its highly intense passions and movements. So the centaur's wizard song has thrilled my ear. That is, I have been here that long. I glimpsed the apsaras bathing in the pools around in the forest, and saw the wood nymphs peering through the leaves. The nymphs of the forests are shy of human sight, so they peep through the leaves of the trees. The winds have shown to me the trampling lords. This is a reference to the Vedic mythology. The Maruts, the wind gods, who represent vital forces being purified into mental energies. They are the host of Shiva, breaking down obstacles and helping man onward in his evolution. Now he says, the winds have shown to me their trampling lords. I have beheld the princess of the sun burning in 1,000-pillared homes of light. Now the princess of the sun, here again there is a reference to the Vedic deities. There are the quaternary of the lords of the solar world, Varuna, Mitra, Bhaga and Aryaman. This is a reference. They are the solar deities. I have beheld the princess of the sun burning in 1,000-pillared homes of light. 1,000-pillared to indicate plentiful, supreme fields of homes of light. I have beheld them. So he says, having seen all these deities, have experienced the various nymphs and apsaras, I feel you too are possibly one of them. So now my mind could dream and my heart fear. I am afraid because if she is not of the human kind, he cannot approach her. So he says, so now my mind could dream and my heart fear that from some wonder couch beyond our air, beyond our skies, risen in a wide morning of the gods, when the gods are about to manifest, thou hast risen, and thou drawest thy horses from the thunderer's world. Thunderer is the rain god, Indra. I am afraid thou hast driven thy horses from the worlds of the thunderer above But then he says, although to heaven thy beauty seems allied, thou art so beautiful that thy beauty can belong only to heaven. It is not earthly. So he says, although to heaven thy beauty seems allied, much rather would my thoughts rejoice to know that mortal sweetness smiles between thy lips. He says, my mind, my thoughts would rejoice to know that thou art not a goddess, an unapproachable deity, but a mortal sweetness smiles between thy lips, that thou art human, and thy smile is of a mortal, and thy heart can beat beneath a human gaze, that a human gaze can look at thy heart and still thy heart can beat. That is, it can respond to a human gaze. And thy aureate bosom quiver with a look, thy golden bosom can quiver, be agitated with a human look from outside. And its tumult answer to an earth-born voice. The tumult of the bosom would heave to an earth-born voice. That is, thou can have human movement and human passions. If our time-vexed affections thou canst feel, our sorrows and our miseries, which are inescapable in time, if thou canst feel them, earth's ease of simple things can satisfy. If the simple ease, contentment of earth can satisfy thee, that thou dost not require complicated things, if thy glance can dwell content on earthly soil, and this celestial summary of delight, thy golden body, thy body is a golden body, which is as it were a summary of delight. Every limb of it, every part of it is full of bliss, compressed. And this celestial summary of delight, thy golden body, dally with fatigue, it can play with earthly fatigue, oppressing with its grace our terrain. Thy grace is so much that it is almost oppressive. Our terrain, our earthly soil, it is beyond the bearing of earth. While thy frail, sweet, passing taste of earthly food delays thee, and the torrent of leaping wine, that is, if earthly food, which emanates a certain taste, when thou art passing, if that earthly fragrance can delay thee for a while, that means can hold thee for a while, and the torrent of leaping wine, torrents leaping wine is the delight in herself. If that streaming delight in herself can delay a little this fragrance of the earthly food, food means not only physical food, but what earth has to offer, then descend. That is, if thou art human, if thou canst respond to human approach, answer to human call, then descend. Descend from thy carriage, descend from thy chariot. Let thy journey cease, come down to us. Close is my father's creepered hermitage, he says, pointing backwards. There is my father's hermitage, creepered. It is surrounded and made, as it were, of creepers, screened by the tall ranks of these silent kings. They are the mountains, they are the hills, silent, tall, and all these series of mountains screen that hermitage, sung to by voices of the hue-robed choirs, that is, the winds passing through the trees, they create a sound like a hymn, whose chants repeat transcribed in music's notes, as if they are repeating the notes of music. The passionate colored lettering of the buffs, the branches of the tree, as if they utter some syllables, and the winds repeat these music's notes and fill the hours with their melodious cry. First is the creepered hermitage. Second, they are screened by the tall ranks of silent kings, sung to by voices of hue-robed choirs. Choirs, this doesn't refer to the trees, but to the company of birds. They are sitting on the branches, and when they sing, it is like a choir, and fill the hours with their melodious cry. Amid the welcome hum of many bees, there are many kinds of bees, and they always hum, and that is a welcome song. Amid the welcome hum of many bees, invade our honeyed kingdom of the woods. He is asking Savitri to invade this sweet kingdom of the woods. There let me lead thee into an opulent life, into a rich life. Bare, simple is the sylvan hermit life. Our hermit life in the forest is no doubt bare, simple, yet is it clad with the jewelry of earth. The jewelry of earth is the greenery, the flowers, the trees. They form with a veritable jewelry of the earth. So our life may be simple and bare, but yet is it clad with the jewelry of earth. Wild winds run. The winds here are wild, they run. Visitors midst the swaying tops. The swaying tops of the trees. Through them, these visitors, called wild winds, they run. Through the calm days of heaven's sentinels of peace. Heaven's sentinels of peace are the hills, the hill peaks. Through them, these winds run. Couched on a purple robe of sky above. The reddish sky above, from there, look down on a rich secrecy and hush. The wild winds, as they pass, they look down on this rich hush and secrecy, which is guarded behind the lines of mountains. And the chambered nuptial waters chant within. Chambers, cloistered, nuptial waters, as if they are the rivers, the streams are in a marriage mood. Their chant, the sound that they emanate, and those winds are looking down upon this rich secrecy and hush, and the nuptial waters, the chanting within, enormous whispering, many formed around. High forest gods have taken in their arms the human hour. He says, we are surrounded by enormous, mutually whispering, many formed, having number of forms, appearances, many formed around. High forest gods have taken in their arms the human hour. We are the human hour here. We have been taken charge by the high gods, and we are a guest of their centuried pomps. The pomps of these forest gods have been lasting for centuries. And after all, the human hour which has come yesterday is only a guest. Apparelled are the morns in gold and green. Mornings are dressed, as it were, in gold and green. Gold due to the sunlight and green due to the vegetation. Sunlight and shadow tapestry the walls. Sunlight and its shadow form the tapestry, decoration of the walls to make a resting chamber fit for thee. That is, these will be the walls, sunlight and shadow tapestry will decorate the walls of thy resting chamber. And it is not human decoration, but it is a decoration by sunlight and the shadow of sunlight, the gold and green of morns. They will form a resting chamber fit for thee. A while she paused, as if hearing still his voice. Savitri doesn't reply immediately. She pauses, and though he has stopped talking, it is as if she still continues to hear his voice, unwilling to break the charm. She doesn't want to break that spell which Satyavan's words have cast. Then slowly spoke, speaking dignifiedly, slowly, as befits a princess. Musing, she answered that even when she talks, she is thinking, she is in contemplation. I am Savitri, princess of Madra. That's all that she says. Who art thou? What name musical on earth expresses thee to men? She is sure that he has a musical name, and that relates him to humanity. What name musical on earth expresses thee to men? What trunk of kings, watered by fortunate streams, has flowered at last upon one happy branch? That is she sure that he comes from a great line of kings. That lineage of kings, watered by fortunate streams, has at last brought out this happy branch that thou art. Why is thy dwelling in the pathless wood? Such a royal, rare specimen that you are. Why? Why is thy dwelling in the pathless wood, in this forest where there are not even paths? Far from the deeds thy glorious youth demands. Thy glorious youth demands a different setting, because the deeds that thy glorious youth demands cannot be done, performed in forests. It should be in battlefields, it should be in the kingdoms. Far from the deeds thy glorious youth demands, haunt of the anchorites and earth's wilder broods. This is a haunt of the anchorites, hermits, renunciates, and earth's wilder broods, wild animals. Not only animals, wild birds, where only with thy witness self thou roamest. She is sure that the whole of him has not come here. It is only the witness self watching. He roams in nature's green, unhuman loneliness, surrounded by enormous silences and a blind murmur of primeval calms. The calm that is frightening. It belongs to the original primitive days, original. The blind murmur, it goes on murmuring and surrounded by enormous silences, something different from human silences, and unhuman loneliness. The loneliness is oppressive to the humans. In such a milieu, thou roamest. Why, she says. And Satyavan replied to Savitri. Satyavan answers, in days when yet his sight looked clear on life, King Dyumatsena once the Shalva reigned. When his sight, he had eyesight was clear, when he could still see, then Dyumatsena as the king of Shalva reigned. Through all the tract which from behind these tops, behind these hills, there are all these tracts, plains, they were his kingdoms. Through all the tract which from behind these tops, passing its days of emerald delight, in trusting converse with the traveller winds turns, through that tract, where that tract full of emerald delight, emerald signifying the green forests, in trusting converse with the traveller winds, the winds pass and the whole land, as if it is in conversation with the winds, looking back towards the southern heavens, opening is in the southern heavens, and leans its flank upon the musing hills, and its border is on these musing, contemplative hills. But equal fate removed her covering hand. Equal fate. Fate is equal, whether in prosperity or in adversity. And that removed her covering hand, which was protecting him. A living night enclosed the strong man's paths. A living night, because he is not dead. He is alive. He is gone blind. So a living night enclosed the strong man's paths. Heaven's brilliant gods recalled their careless gifts. His royalty was taken away. He was exiled. So he says, the brilliant gods of heaven recalled their careless gifts. They are not very careful in giving gifts to human beings. When the human beings pray for it, they just say yes. And they recalled it. So Dyumatsena loses his kingdom, loses his eyesight, and he goes into exile. Heaven's brilliant gods recalled their careless gifts, took from blank eyes their glad and helping ray. His eyes, they took away their glad and helping ray of light, and led the uncertain goddess from his sight. Prosperity, royalty, they took her away, and she is always an uncertain goddess. You can never be sure that you will always have prosperity with you. Outcast from empire of outer light. The outer light. He is outcast. That means he is banished from outer sight. Outcast from the empire of the outer light. Lost to the comradeship of seeing men. Other men have got eyes, but he can't be a comrade to them. He sojourns in two solitudes. Today he lives between two solitudes. One solitude within, he is aloof, he is alone. Solitude without, he is without his kingdom, without his subjects. So, he sojourns in two solitudes, within and in the solemn rustle of the woods, the solitude of the forest, the solitude of the soul. Son of that king, I, Satyavan, have lived contented. He has no complaints. He lives contented. For not yet thee of thee aware. I have been living a contented existence because I was not aware of thee. Now that thou hast come, I have lost my contentment. That is the dhvani, the suggestion. He says, I have lived contented, for not yet of thee aware. In my high people loneliness of spirit, highly peopled, people means not human beings, his thoughts, his feelings. In my high people loneliness of spirit, and this huge vital murmur kin to me, vital murmur of the beasts and birds in the forests, kin to me, I feel related to them, nursed by the vastness of the mountains and the forests, pupil of solitude. I am a student of solitude, and I have lived content till now. Great nature came to her recovered child. Because I came here, greater nature has claimed me. I reigned in a kingdom of a nobler kind, not the pell-mell, humdrum human kind. I reigned in a kingdom of a nobler kind than men can build upon dull matter soil. My kingdom is something different, something nobler than the kingdom that men can build on the dull soil of matter. I met the frankness of the primal earth. I communed with the openness of primal earth, not yet vitiated by human beings. I enjoyed the intimacy of infant God. At his age, God suited to his age, an infant God, I enjoyed the intimacy of infant God. Sorry to stop at this interesting stage. Let's take it up next time.